Hi everyone, welcome to Eden Secret. It is 7 in the morning and I just thought I'd come out and show you what a beautiful morning it is. We've been so lucky with the weather. It's just been absolutely sensational during the lockdown, and I've been awake since 3:30 this morning. John's been on night shift, which is actually not good for me but good for their work, because what they did when they went back to work is they've split the shift, so half of them are doing during the day and half of them are doing night shift. And so he comes in at like 5 o'clock and he has a cup of coffee and whatever, and then he comes to bed. So I literally got up as he came to bed, and it feels a little bit fresher this morning, but it is still early. It's 7 AM and the pheasant's back. Now, he didn't call last year, but I've heard him squeaking this morning from about 4 o'clock, so he's around somewhere. Right, so I just thought I'd come out and let you listen to the birds for a while and talk about my next video. Well, this video, which is the making of my Lilac and Daisy Cupcake Soaps. Okay, so we're about to add our colour, and we're using the Violet Blue from Mineral Makeup Ingredients, Violet Blue 40F, and you need quite, actually, before I do that, I just remembered I need to separate off some colour, some batter, simply because I'm being piping some pink roses and I haven't got enough. So I want to separate off some batter to save for those. That should be enough. Yeah, so the Violet 40F, I'm adding the colour to all of the batter, because it's just one colour all the way through. The base and the topping are all just the same colour. And to ensure that you get all of the soap exactly the same density, you add the colour to the whole batch. So this colour isn't that dense, so you do need quite a lot of it. So I've probably got, I really need to get some of those teaspoon measures, don't I? But I've probably got 5 teaspoonfuls in here. Okay, so that's all the colour blended in. It was the right amount of colour as well. So I'm just going to separate off. I'm doing 27 cupcakes again today because I wanted some of the soap batter to pipe some pink daisies. So I'm going to put 1.1 kilos in here and hope that that fills half of my cupcakes. Actually, I've just remembered that the fragrance I'm using, I think it moves fairly fast. So I'm going to halve that. And I'm using the Kenzo flower, the K flower from Soap Supplier today. A fragrance I absolutely adore. So I'm going to put about 10 mils in there, and let's see if it moves. Looking good so far. I just didn't want to make too much batter in case this moved that fast that I couldn't pour it, so we're okay up to now. I can already tell it is thickening up though, but it's a stunning fragrance if you like violet. It's not Parma Violet though, it's not sweety like that. It's definitely floral, but it's I think it's absolutely beautiful. Right, so I'm going to be okay to mix up more soap batter now. So instead of being called Lilac Daisy, these will be known as Violet Daisy on the website from now on. It's a violet, rose and jasmine fragrance with other things in there as well. You know, fragrance oils have come on a lot in the UK since I started making soap. A lot of fragrances were just one-dimensional, like orange or raspberry or lemon, you know, just straight fragrances like that. And for the really nice quality fragrances, you had to buy from overseas. But honestly, the fragrance suppliers have really upped their game in the last 15 years. And there's lots of beautiful, stunning fragrances in this country now. So you don't need to buy overseas. I know I do have some Nature's Garden fragrances. But there really is no need to buy overseas if you don't want to. If also Nature's Garden fragrances, you can actually buy those in the UK. There's a Facebook page called Sell the Smells, and they sell Nature's Garden original fragrances. It's a Facebook group, so I'll put a link to that in the description box below. Okay, so that's all of our soap bases poured. As I've said before, the frosting, we're going to let these set up, and the frosting that's going on the top is exactly the same batch. You don't need to whisk it, you don't need to whip it, but you can just give it a stir with a spoon sporadically until the batter's thick enough. So all you're letting it do is you're letting it do the same as what the base is doing. So you pour the base and then you let it thicken up to set. Because you've added fragrance to the base, they'll be set before the frosting on the top thickens up. So your frosting will take a lot longer to thicken up if you don't add fragrance. But I always wait until these bases are nearly set, because the base has to hold the weight of the frosting that you're putting on top. If you don't do that, your frosting will sink into the soap, and the soap batter in the base will flood over the silicone mould, and you don't want that. I've done that quite a lot of times, and that's why I do it this way. Put the fragrance into half of the batch for the soap bases, and then wait for them to set, and then when they've set, then I add the fragrance to the topping and wait until that thickens up. It does add a little bit of extra time, but it's better to take a little bit extra time than lose all of your batch or ruin your cupcakes. So these will be the last cupcakes that I do in this cupcake session, shall we call it, during Cupcake Week. So as soon as these are set, then we'll get the frosting ready. Okay, so this is the other half of the batter. I added the fragrance in there about 5 minutes ago, and I've been stirring it every minute to keep a check on it. So I just thought I would show you that process. So this is the first stir after about 5 minutes. Now Obviously, depending on which fragrance oil you use, your fragrance could be thick enough within 2 minutes or 0, but that's not the type of fragrance oil you want to use for soap piping. You want I like a medium speed trace fragrance oil. The trouble is you have no idea until you buy them what speed they're going to move at, because that information isn't on websites. But I'm going to try and add as much information to reviews as I possibly can. So I can feel this is getting thick, but it's nowhere near ready to pipe yet. Another 5 minutes has gone by and we're still not there yet. So again, I'm just giving it a stir. This process is going to take a little bit longer than I anticipated. Another 5 minutes has passed and you can see we're getting somewhere now. It is thickening up. I absolutely love this fragrance. It's described as a chalky floral. This fragrance is built on 3 basic notes. Floral notes revolve around violet, gentle wild hawthorn, cassis and Bulgarian rose. Its chalky note is composed of voluptuous vanilla, white musk and a popanax with a gentle woody touch. And I think, yes, it's predominantly violet, but I think I really like musk. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance note. Okay, so this is going to be ready to pipe the next time we come to check the texture. Okay, so it's not quite there, but it's nearly there. So I'm going to start loading this into my piping bag so it's ready to go. It's weird, some fragrances can take a while to get to this stage and then all of a sudden they get really hard. It's absolutely crazy the difference fragrance oils make in every single batch. So it is still a little bit looser than I would like, and I'm using my PME Arts and Crafts piping bag, 16 inch. That's my favourite size. If you're making not as many soaps or not as many cupcakes, you get away with smaller piping bags. I don't like piping bags that are any bigger than 16 inch. I don't even like 18 inch, but 16 works for me. And then the nozzle we're using is the Sweetly Does It 8CS, and the tip looks like this. Now if I can find the Wilton alternative, I'll link that in the description box as well, simply because they're not, I know I keep saying it, but I'm thinking about new viewers as well that might never have seen this video before. You can see it's very out of shape, which isn't great when you're using piping bags, because the mixture can seep down the sides where it's been dented, and you want to try and avoid that. The only thing I notice with the Wilton, pictures of the Wilton nozzles, it seems like the Photoshop the images on them, Photoshop the nozzle, which is a bit strange. I find that a bit strange because you can't really see the nozzle tip and what it looks like for real in real life, which is a bit stupid, I think. But that's how it is. So rubber gloves, you really need to wear rubber gloves when you're making any soap, especially cupcakes, because it's a lot easier to get soap batter on your skin. Please look up life safety if you're going to make cold processed soap. But I noticed that I've just been looking, because I had 4 boxes of rubber gloves, and I'm down to 1.5 now. So I need to buy some more. Yet again, all the greedy people have jumped on the bandwagon and made everything double, triple, quadruple, you know, 10 times more expensive than they usually are. For a box of 100, you really shouldn't be paying any more than £5 in money. £7 is okay, but I've just looked there and they're talking £20, £32, £40 for a box. I mean, we could all do that, couldn't we? Like, I'm making soap, everybody needs it. Let's double, treble, quadruple our prices. I'm just not going to do it. So, it's time to pipe. So you can see I've got my daisies in the background, ready to go. I'm sorry I missed out piping the centres on those, but we'll do that in another video sometime. And while the soap batter isn't quite thick enough to pipe the full top, I am going to pipe a blob in the centre of each one. This just fills up the gap, because when you go around you leave a gap in the centre, and this just fills up the gap. The reason I'm piping this first, it's different when I'm piping different colours, I do it in a different way, but when the topping is all one colour, I always put a blob in the centre so that the next squeeze of piping the whole top of frosting is one movement. Right, we're now ready to pipe. I've got my piping bag about not even half full, and we're just gonna, you'll see, we're just gonna pipe this all in one movement. Second time round, third time round, and then off at the top. 2, 3. Just got a little air pocket there. Always got to be prepared for the air pockets. Try not to let your batter go too stiff, because it makes an ugly pipe. It kind of breaks sort of around the edges where your definition would be. This is a little bit softer than I would like, but at least it creates a nice smooth silky finish. And so you see that centre also gives the rest of your back frosting something to rest on. Without that, it might collapse slightly in the centre. If your frosting is stiffer though, it won't collapse in the centre. So someone was asking what camera I use. and I'm now using the Canon G7X Mark II, which John and Declan bought me for Christmas this year, so I was really spoiled. And because there's a Mark III version out, you can get the G7X for about £450 now. But the previous 10 years that I've been making YouTube videos, I've always used the Panasonic Lumix FZ100. Again, link in the description box to both of those cameras. I hope that this G7X has a more crisp picture. On the G7X Mark III, you can actually do 5K on it, where you can't with the Mark II. But, I mean, it's crisp enough, it's sharp enough. And what is 5K, if people are wondering? It's just how perfect the picture's going to be, and crisp and clean, and it can see clearly, more clearly. I guess it's like wearing specs, glasses, better quality lenses enable you to see a lot clearer. Okay, before we put the daisies on there, I just wanted to do a colour swatch of that purple and how pretty it is. You know, the colours that we use for making soap are just the same as what is used to make eyeshadows and makeup. Right, so I pipe those on to greaseproof paper. So let's just take all of the greaseproof paper off those. So because they're thin, they do like curl a little bit, but I quite like that. And these cupcakes are going off to Spain. It's the first product I'm making for a wholesale order I've got from Spain. One of my regular customers. So I left them on the greaseproof paper because that gives the bottom of the daisy, keeps it a little bit moist, which will help it stick to the soap frosting easier, better. So I'm not adding glitter. There is glitter on the daisies, but that's it. She doesn't want much glitter on her soaps this time. And that's fine by me. Okay, so there we are. I am going to unmold them because you know, not everybody, as someone pointed out, not everybody has seen certain products made before. And I got in trouble with a lovely viewer who wanted to see the pink twinkles unmolded. Because she wanted to see, of course she would want to see that. Stupid me. She wanted to see what the cupcake base looked like unmolded. So I'll have to make sure that I do unmold these cupcakes. And there we are. There we have them. My Violet and Daisy Cupcake Soaps. Some will be available on the website because not all of these are going to SEVILLE in Spain. So they are available to buy. I have to say, I think that fragrance actually soaked beautifully. So this will definitely be one to continue with here at Eden Secret. Alright everyone, hope you enjoyed that video. That's the last of our cupcake soap videos for now. Stay tuned for my next video coming up very, very soon. I'll see you all. Bye bye for now.